Hello fellow lions, how are you? I hope all is well with you. This is Teacher Kaitesi. Well, I had thought that my next video will be on telling you how we can tap into our energy, but supposedly there is something else. There's always something else. I feel like there's always something else to do, that there's always more tests, there are always more exams. I feel like this is exhausting. But I promised I would always share, so I have to share. So let me share. So you're all probably going to go through some tests, but these seem like final tests. For me, they seem like final tests because they are kind of tests which I don't know whether you have all gone through them over this last weekend, because for me I went through them over the weekend. So I don't know whether you have gone through them. If you have, please share. If you haven't, just, be ready. These are kind of spiritual tests. They are really for the spirit to know that you're ready. Because truly, let me tell you something. Whichever way these demons and these fallen entities want to go, this game is over. They can't go up anymore. There's no way they can increase. They can't go up anymore because they can't blind us again. They can't put us back to sleep anymore. So this game is up. So whichever way we look at it, it's over. Okay? We are going to know how to get back our power. We are going to have to get back our power. There's no other way out. You understand? So anyway, I had 3 tests. The first one was kind of like, how would you manage, say, an emergency if you had to manage a group of people alone? Because for me, I was managing like school students alone, and it was like, okay, so the first one was on managing people. The second one was on whether you can easily get intimidated, and then the third one was on being fair and being truly fair, not playing favoritism, not taking sides, but being absolutely fair. So the first one, I'm given a school van, and I'm given children, about 30 children, who can be about 10, 11. And then I'm asked to take them for camp. And then I ask whether there's another teacher coming with me, and there's no other teacher, it's just me alone. So I'm driving them alone. I'm going to manage the camp alone. So I get there, I drive. As I'm driving, I'm beginning to think of camp activities because it seemed like it was abrupt and I wasn't ready for it, So I start thinking of activities for the camp, what we're going to do when we get there. I think the camp was supposed to be 3 days. So we go. And then when we get there, I take the children off the bus, then I start giving instructions, which boys here, girls here, go put your luggage. Then I start looking out for where they are going to play. Of course, I move through the field, be sure that it's safe. Then I start dividing them into groups, depending on their ages and sizes, so that I know that there will not be a lot of fights and conflicts. Then I go back to looking for their food. Imagine I had to prepare their food. Anyway, I prepare their food. Then I come, these ones have fought, these ones have done this, and I have to go back and resolve those issues. And I remember, I kept thinking, this is so unfair. How can I come for a whole camp alone? But then my mind was also aware that this is a test. They want to see how you do, So I realized that throughout that test, I realized I had to keep calm, don't get angry, don't get too, like that. Anyway, so I made it through that one. And as I'm going back to school, they tell me, I drop off the children, and then they tell me that I have to go for another test. So I go to this other test, and this one is, I'm evaluating people. So I meet these different people, talk to them for about 10 minutes, and then they go away, and then they tell me to tell them about these people. How did you find this person? What did you think of them? What kind of character are they? You know, what do you think they're about? What do you think they can be good at? What do you think they can't manage? Can you imagine? And this is just when you've just met someone for 10 minutes. Now, and then during this test, where I thought it was more intimidating, the other person that I was doing it with was a lady that I listened to on Instagram. She's a spiritual guide, and she has been a spiritual guide for like more than 10 years. So I actually always listen in on her. So can you imagine you're being put up against someone who is like part of your teachers, you know, part of your spiritual teachers, and now you're evaluating people with her. Anyway, so then I go through evaluating those people with her. And then after that, I'm told to evaluate her also. And I'm told, you've been watching her all this time. You've been learning from her. What kind of person do you think she is? So I also have to evaluate her and give a report on her. My teacher. Remember that. So then I leave from there. Then I'm told, okay, this is the last test. Then I think, these are too many tests. This is all in one night, by the way. I woke up so exhausted. I stayed in bed like until 10, 11. So I go for the third test. Now this third test is at like a news broadcast, and there are these two ladies who are reading the news. And so it's in the studio. And so I'm watching at the studio. And I'm looking at them and how their demeanor, how they carry themselves, how they are reading, how they are dressed, are they presentable enough, and all that. You know? And I'm also told to give a fair account of what I thought the news. Was it worthy sharing? Should it be the kind of news that they should be sharing? Do you think it should be shared with this kind of people? And then I realized that the news they were sharing was way too mature, and these girls were young. But when I was saying it, there were these guys who happened to be friends with these girls. And then they were like saying, no, she's just trying to make them get fired. They're not too young, they're old enough, and what, and you know. They're quarreling in the background, anyway. So I give my account of how I felt about it. Then I'm told, okay, the tests are done, but now we need for you to choose the friends that you want. And I'm like, what do you mean the friends that they want? And then they show me like different animal totems. And then, of course, I'm looking for the lion amongst the animal totems, but then they show me a lion cub instead. Of course, I tell them that, can I draw the one I want? So I draw an actual grown lion. I tell them, this lion cub is good, but it's a child. So I wouldn't want to have an animal totem of a child. So I draw a fully grown lion, and then I give them that as my answer. I didn't choose from what they had given me. Okay? And that's the thing I realized with these spiritual tests. You don't always have to choose from what they have given you. If you don't like something, if they are all 4 options, you don't like them, you can always refuse and choose the one, present the one that you feel is your choice. Okay? So I just came to tell you guys that you may have tests, you may have spiritual tests. Okay, but I was told that this is the last one. I really, really hope it's the last one. So you may have spiritual tests, just be ready to be fair, to be just, to be honest. Okay? Because you see, I realized that during the test, I kept feeling like they want your honest answer. They want your true answer. Don't try and bend it, don't try and change it because of the people who are there. Because there were people watching while I was doing this. There were so many people around us watching all these activities. Even when I was at the camp with the children, there were all these people who are just standing there watching, not doing anything, not helping, but watching. Okay? So that's why I kept feeling like it's more about intimidation. Like, are you easily intimidated? Will you be dishonest because there are people there heckling you? Will you like change your answer so that maybe people are more pleased? So it's more like that. So I feel like it's really the last test. I really, really hope that it's the last. You know? But I was told it's the last. So I'm hoping that the next time we're talking, I'm coming to say, we have the keys, this is how it works. You know? But just prepare. In case you haven't been tested, just prepare. that you will be spiritually tested. It will be like you're going through this thing, So those are 3 different tests, really. And then I hope you're still doing your cleansing with your salt and your lemon and your vinegar. And I hope you're still covering your energy as you leave the home, as you leave your space, so that you're covered all throughout the day. All these things are important. But my brothers and sisters, let me tell you, this war is over. Fear not. Fear not. This war is over. There is no way. There is no way. And also, the last part I forgot to tell you, as I was leaving now after the last test, I'm walking away. I've finished, I'm walking away. Then I see these 2 pieces of land. They're side by side. They look pretty much the same, but one is like more green. The plants are the same, but one side the plants are pale, and one side the plants are really dark green. So I feel the Spirit telling me to go to one. So of course I go to the more green one. And when I get onto it, I'm looking at it and I'm looking at all these plants on it, walking around it. Then I look over at the one which is pale, and then I see a grave with a gravestone, and it had my name on it. Now, I've dreamt before when I'm getting out of the ground. I've dreamt before when people are digging me out of like a grave. I've dreamt before when I'm in a grave with so many other people. But I've never seen my tombstone. But this one, I saw my tombstone. On that piece of land which was pale and had few plants, I saw my tombstone there with my names and birthday and everything. But then I started thinking, but I'm okay. Then I realized spiritually it's just that I die on this one piece, but then I come alive on this other piece. And then I thought, okay, maybe that's the 3D, where I die in the 3D and I become alive in the 5D. No problem. So I know, I told you part of the reason why I allowed to do this channel is because I realized we are very different human beings. We're very different from other people. Our experiences are always very different. And so, like, sometimes you experience something and then you're thinking, what? So I share all these strange things that happen, just so that you don't feel strange. You don't feel like weird or different. Just know that there are other people like you who have different experiences from regular people, So I saw myself buried in one land, and I was standing on the other piece of land. But the good thing, I was standing on the good piece. I wasn't standing on the bad piece, So I don't know. When you go through your tests, or if you went through them, please share. I want to know what happened. I want to know what you experienced. Okay? So, have a brilliant Lion Day. And this is Lion time. Okay? So be ready for big changes. All right.